Upholstery and spend the day in my workroom with me as I make this footstool. Hope you like it. So it's huge. Cool. Very, very cool. I love that. So there is going to have to be a join in it, which is a shame, but that's fine. I'll match it nicely. That is really nice fabric. And it's a nice size print, but there's enough going on that there's nothing that needs to be like super central or anything. Oh, I'm really excited about this now. I don't think she sent me her piping fabric yet, but that's okay. I'll just get this part done. This is my cotton wadding. I'm going to feather my edges, so I'm going to put my hand right up against the edge of the foam and pull. This is big now, and you take it out of the packaging, it gets even bigger. That's the kind of size stuff we're dealing with. Not fun. And in the corners with polywadding, I just staple right up to the corner and then just cut it away. I don't pleat or anything because it just adds too much bulk. I just pull, staple up to it. Same on the other side. Pull, staple up to it. And then all of this I cut away down there, because I don't want to add unnecessary bulk to the corners. So that's how I finish my polywadding off, and then just trim all of that away. So I'm just going to put some pins in where I need to cut it. So really I want to cut it like there-ish. So each of my side join pieces needs to be 9 inches across. I'm hoping that none of this middle piece is going to be wasted, but unfortunately when it is so wide, it's just, you have to cut off the side because you have to have your join. I need to pattern match them really nicely because it is going to be seen on the top of the footstool. So I find a nice reference point that I can fold over. I'm just going to see where would be a good place to do that. Probably halfway up his nose. Halfway up his nose, so that much is folded over. As I go along the whole way, I need to fold over that much, and I just use my finger to like force that fold, and then I'll go the whole way along so that that much is poking out. So I folded my whole piece. So if I use the lion's face as a reference point, then I'm going to match up his tip of his nose My other can be the edge of that flower. So I'm just going to put a few pins in for now. As I'm sewing it, I'm going to be repinning it. So I'm just going to start sewing it, and my pins are all going to be readjusted. I was kind of just getting the tension started. So as I'm sewing, I'm watching out for my various reference points on the pattern. So I know that there's one there, and then I know that I'm kind of treating each part of the pattern as a different section, and that is the section that I will sew, and then I'll stop, repin, repull, sew to the next section. And I'm going through all my different there's various reference points that I'm matching as I go. There's a definite art to it. It's so much about like feeling it, and so it's really hard to explain exactly what my process is. So I'm putting a pin in the right place so that my fabric is at the right tension, but then closer to where my needle is, I'm getting into position and holding it in place so that I know the position is correct. So my tension is correct, the tension is from the pin, and the position is from my hand held bit. I don't know how to explain. So tension here with this pin, and then position here with my hand. I'm going to sew up to where my hand is, and then secure it with a back stitch. Oh, that looks really nice. You can hardly see the join. I'll show you on the table. I'm really, really chuffed with that. Looks great. Beautiful. You can hardly see the join at all. Just really good. So once I'm going to press that now so that it all lies, my seams all lie flat, and then the join will be invisible. But that looks really good. Patterns like this I find quite they're easier to match because there's so many reference points that you can match up, and so the whole way down you're not coming out of position ever. That looks really, really good. I'm so happy with that. I actually love matching fabric. It's just so satisfying. Though some days you do go through days when you're like, wait, how do I do this again? And then you think about it too much, and then you mess it up. Bottom of his foot is 7 and the top of his head is 7 from the edge. There's so many different parts to the pattern that you've kind of just got to choose one thing to even out. This is going to look so nice. I'm really excited about it already. More this way. Okay, now I'm in the middle. And it always takes a few tries to get a position exactly right. So I do my first temporary staples so my wood starts here. I do them quite far down just in case I have to move it again, and then I don't want to have my staple holes. It's a good tightness. This is the nicest fabric. The colour, the pattern, obsessed. Well jealous. I want it now. Oh, do you know what would look well cool? It's like a pom-pom or like a fringe or something around the bottom. I am happy with the tightness. I feel like everything's running in the right direction. Half thinking maybe that one's pulled a bit too tight, but that can all be evened out. But I think my temporary tacks are good. So much. I'm going to do my central, like the middle section at the front first. So I'm just going to do like this much at the front, that much at the back, then the sides, and then, yeah, that's all. Happy with that? I think I'm pulling that a bit too hard, so I'm gonna take those out. Just release it a little bit. Like that. Right, so I'm just gonna do my pleat. Ideally it would have been on this side, but because of where my seam falls right on the corner, if I was to pleat that, it just looks way chunkier. And so what I'm going to do is just have the pleat on this side, then that seam kind of falls right on the corner, and I'm able to get a much thinner pleat. So it will be like that, and I'll stitch it close like that. So there's my pleat. At the moment it's open, but I'm going to stitch it shut. Cool. I'm just going to check that all of my corners look the same. And that's where I'm going to start. So I'm going to hold it together, go slightly above it. And 3. And then with the tip of your needle, just hold that pleat while you pull, else it will kind of collapse inwards on itself. So if you just put your needle in there, when you pull it tight, that won't happen. Just mind. Stitch. Okay, so my wood's here, so I can finish my stitch there. I'm just going to knot it. Do like a triple knot. 1, 2, 3. Pleat can't open anymore. Done. Welcome to my new workroom. I'm sorry if the lighting, I need to put a bulb and a plug on that big lamp, and I got rid of my old light because it was a bit of a safety hazard. It would always like smoke, so I thought, okay, that can go with the move. It's in my sister's new house that they've just bought, so this is us for a few months. I've got a metre here of Romo Lara, which is just a lovely linen that I like to use for piping. It's in the colour Pebble. So it's a cotton cord. I like the cotton cord one. So this is the piping bit. So it's got a groove there that the piping sits in. As you're sewing, the piping sits in your groove. I actually had to order quite a lot of fabric for this footstool, mainly because this pattern is large and because the footstool is just too wide to be one with the fabric. I had to cut one panel and then the sides of another whole panel, and so there's like a big bit in the middle that's wasted here. So this, you see, this middle section is narrow. I need to do the board, cut the border piece now, and I need to pattern match it. So it does use a lot of fabric, but the customer, I think she's quite crafty because she said to send all the remnants back, and she's going to make cushions, and she's going to make like cute little, what are they called? Fabric coasters. So I think she's really crafty and she can use all this fabric for for cute things like that. So that's good. So I need these lions 3 times. I think I'm only going to be able to cut 2 of those exact same panels. Seems like such a lot of fabric, but there actually isn't quite enough to do exactly what I need to, which is really annoying. Okay. These absolutely giant patterns do just waste a lot of fabric, unfortunately. Okay, just so that you can see what I mean about matching a big pattern. This is kind of all I have left, apart from that narrow middle section. This is all the fabric I have left to cut 2 more pieces. And so you'd think that 90 centimetres would be enough to cut two more panels this width, but it's not. And this is why a lot of the fabric goes to waste with big patterns. So this peacock here, can't see that, that's where I'd have to join it. It falls right in the middle. If it fell on this pattern over here, then I could cut that one and that one, but because it falls right in the middle here, I can't get both sides to match. That is so annoying because it felt like it was so much fabric, and yet it just was like maybe 30 centimetres too little in the end. That all feels straight. So now I'm going to try and get my front border nice and pattern matched. I'm going to just try and find my first reference point, which I guess will be this yellow flower. There-ish. I'm just going to fold it with my nail where it needs, where my straight line is. Okay, all of that looks good. So my fabric is folded. My first reference point is this yellow flower here. So I'm going to line that up where it needs to go. So I start in the middle. And you've just got to be checking it at all times. Put a few staples in and then pull it down again just to make sure everything's looking as it should. And I staple right up to my piping. You can see it's all matched nicely at the front. So that's all temporary into place. I just need to permanently staple. And then I often just give this a little tap. So I'm going to do my fold. Sorry, my table's a bit creaky. Staple that. And then sort of stitch down there. Done. So this bottom cloth, it kind of finishes it off nicely, and then it also prevents dust going in your furniture. You need to do your bottom cloth quite tight, because else it sags. I love doing bottom cloth. I like it when it looks really neat. It's finished, yay.